Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the All Things Gratitude podcast. I'm your host, Nick Dorsey. And on the show today, our next guest is an accomplished trail runner, organizational sales executive, certified HR professional, and private equity guru who has helped grow amazing work cultures that have allowed for 3 successful mergers and acquisition exits in the last 7 years. He also knows how to catch cons when they're trying to con companies out and everything. Hey, man, he's a Gary Vee disciple, and this is great. Please welcome to the show, Robichaud.
Whoa!
I got it right. That's 3 times in a row.
Got my name right. That is good. That's a lot. So I'm going to add one more thing. I'm slipping into the commercial facility building exterior maintenance space now, and we're heading up a new pressure washing organization here in Arizona. We acquired a business not too long ago, a company that I'm partnered with, and this is the year for us to scale and grow that and learn a lot about it. So all those cool things you said about me today, I'm just a pressure washing guy, and I still run, and but that's who I am, man. So I certainly appreciate you bringing me on to chat a little bit about it and some of the cool things happening in the world with NFTs and VeeFriends and Gary Vaynerchuk, and then some of the scams that are going on around out there as well.
Hey, look in the bottom of the screen. Do we know this guy?
Oh, hey.
I think I know that guy. So
yeah. Gosh,
I think I talked to him yesterday. I'm not sure. So
I am so grateful for that guy. He brought in me into his organization a couple years back and allowed for me to kind of grow and do some things neat in his organization. And because of him, I learned a lot in the asphalt business, the paving business, and through a lot of hard work and long nights, the two of us partnered really well together, and we found a way to help that organization grow and find a successful exit last year. So without him, I wouldn't be sitting in front of you today like this to have this conversation.
Just so the people know, I work with that guy now. So, I'm hoping for a lot of the same success that you had and learning from him and, expanding my career too, so very thankful for that. So, and a lot of people don't know this guy, Rob right here, introduced me to Scott. So it's been really cool. So we got a nice connection here, and I'm very thankful and for everything that's happened so far. And, we're going to kick some butt, and I'm very excited for that. So that's awesome. I mean, thanks for being on, Scott. It means a lot. So
yeah, absolutely. It's good seeing his name pop up for sure. So
it is. And with so much going on right now for you, I mean, you're always doing something. You're a busy bee. Yeah. You're a busy bee, but one thing you mentioned to me about why you wanted to come on the podcast was we want to talk about people who are trying to scam, entrepreneurs, business owners, and how they're doing that. And you've had in your past, you have helped find those people and do things to help people probably notice those before they happen, before they get scammed. So you told me a good story the other day. You want to share that with the audience, and then we can talk about, different ways to look for these things and stop it from happening.
Well, that's great. I there's a few things I hope that we can share with the audience today. One of them certainly is how to identify a scam and what that gut check feels like. And one that happened just the other day for us is we received a message through our website, and it just says, "Hey, do you guys do residential jobs?" And it comes through like a text message, except it comes through a chat room on a website. And if you are the website owner, you get to engage with the customer. And I had an opportunity to engage with the customer. I said, well, it depends, where's the house located and what kind of job is it? And so he threw me his digits and mentioned, I'm moving, got some work getting done on the house. We certainly need, some work done. My realtor is going to be out on the job site this weekend to take a look at it. We got to get the driveways cleaned and the sidewalks cleaned. And so that's kind of how the engagement went back and forth. They sent me an address. I was able to do an aerial map with Google Earth and kind of get an idea of the square footage of the property. And then we went back and we gave the person a quote. And it was about $450 worth of work because they had heavy gas and oil stains that we were going to have to come through and actually put down a detergent and let it sit for a while. Then we'd have to come through with some hot water and clean it up to be able to get that pavement looking good enough for the resale of that home. So that was all normal until we get the text message saying, hey, text me at this number instead. That number's no longer working. So that was a first flag. Okay, great. And so we text and say, hey, here's the quote, $450. He says, I don't know how I'm going to pay you. I'm out of town, but my workers putting in floors and my realtor will be there this Saturday. What's the best way to pay you? So he's essentially trying to get me to offer up, why don't you send me a check? And of course, I take the bait and I say, why don't you send me a check? And he says, great, I'll do that. Give me your address. I'll send you a check. So he sends the check. But the check that he sends shows up on Thursday. The work has to be scheduled according to him, and his text messages has to be done starting at 9:30 on Saturday. The check that he actually sent over was for $4,000 more. $4,000 more than what we quoted. We quoted $450. He sent us a check for $4,450. So why would he do that? He knows full well that I'm going to react and say, hey, dude, the check's the wrong amount. So I do. And he replies back, oh, yeah, do me this favor. Go ahead and deposit that check. I can't be there to pay the flooring guys. Can you write out a check to the flooring guys? I'll give you their name and number. So instantly, I know it's a scam. I know it's a scam. But I'm the guy that likes to play with the scammers. And I'm like, all right, let me see what I can do. What's the name of the flooring company? Tell me a little bit more about that. How do I know who I'm going to meet with? So knowing full well that if I were to deposit that check into my account on a Thursday, it goes in on Friday. NSF, non-sufficient funds, aren't going to actually post until probably Monday or Tuesday the following week. Perfectly timed scam. And then what I would have done is I would have deposited, I would have written out a check to the ABC flooring company, and then I would have met with his flooring supervisor at 9:30 Saturday morning, named Mario, and hand him that check. Well, here's the reality. The reality check is probably that Mario that's collecting the $4,000 check from me is actually the scammer who got me the fake check, who's then going to run over to the bank, deposit it, and disappear, close out his bank account, or he's going to, go to a check cashing place, whatever that is. He's going to draw the funds out. I won't know about the non-sufficient check from him. And then my check will bounce if I don't have enough money in the account come Thursday of the following week. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Small businesses will fall into this all the time because they're con men. And con is short for confidence. They're really good at just communicating. They're good at angling. Now, here's how to pick up on a con. What could we have done differently in this situation? And the good thing is we didn't get conned because I knew the game. But one, if they're only willing to talk with you over text, that's a flag. Yep. If they change the number in the middle of the relationship, that's a flag, especially if a number that they had is no longer working. When you do get a check and it's more for what they're willing to, more than the job or less than the job for that matter, that should raise a flag. Right. And so all those things, there. Now, here's what often happens if it was a real conversation, Nick, and I was having a conversation with them. You will hear manipulative language with people. They'll say, like I said earlier, when you hear the words, like I said earlier, that's because they're so rehearsed that they can't think outside of that box of what they've rehearsed for. So if you ask a question they can't answer, they will default back to an answer that sounds good in their own head, hoping that you buy it. And when they say the words, like I said earlier, that's buying them time to think, shoot, what do I need to say to make this guy believe I'm credible in this moment? That's a tell. And you'll hear that a lot just with regular language. And in the human resources place, when I was doing investigations of, managers doing inappropriate things with their staff or stealing or anything of that nature, oftentimes when I would hear that, I would know that something was up. Or when somebody would start making excuses saying, I would never do something like that. That was a tell. And then be like, yes, they would. Because if they me, I have too much to lose. I would never do something for only $500. Mm-hmm. That's the tell. So that's a small business scam that, has been going on for years. There's variations of that one, but that's essentially the one that you got to be worried about if you're a small business owner. And small business owners fall prey to this one all the time.
I got to do this really quick. So this is Tina Oliver. So if you get scammed and your credit gets ruined, go see her. She's the credit wizard. She'll help you fix that. So quick plug for you, Tina. And she's from Arizona too. She's one of our homies out here. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So no, that's awesome. Like I said earlier in the show. See, yay.
Hey, that and you know we've learned that language to just buy time. It's the new or the new
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Agreed. You know, and the funny thing is and this still works and it just baffles me is I still get those emails. I have an African prince cousin who died that's going to give me $20 million. All I got to do is give my routing number to this person and send them $1,000 and they'll deposit 30 million for me. I'm like, people still fall for this stuff.
Yep.
That's just crazy. See, Tina's listening. That's my partner.
That's so and do you know, so that brings us into the business. So if you're getting that kind of email at home or in your business, I want to, here's the lesson up front. Do not do out of office. Like I'm out of the office until Thursday. Don't put those auto replies up. And here's why. When you put an auto reply up like that, and a scammer is scamming several emails every hour of every day all over the country, and they get a boom, I'm not available until Thursday. They're instantly going to see, who are you? Are you credible enough in your role that I can now use you and your name to go scam somebody? So let's say I find out that Scott Phillips, he's on the call. He's out until Thursday of next week on family vacation. What a scammer would do with that information if they got that auto reply would be to create a similar email address that would be, S. Phillips at the company that he's working. They change a few letters in it. You wouldn't even notice it, Nick. And then they would send you a message. Hey, Nick, it's Scott. Got a minute? And you'd be like, sure. Say, okay, I'm in flight or I can't call right now. I need you to do me a favor. How's your next 30 minutes? And they will do this around a lunch hour, right before a lunch hour, right towards the end of a day. And, they'll hit you up and they'll just be like, hey, can you do me a favor? And gosh, being the great guy that you are, Nick, you're going to say, absolutely. What can I do for you, Scott? And you're not even checking that it's the wrong email extension to the top of the email because it's got his name in it, right? And then they're going to say, hey, I want to do something great for the employees when I get back next week. Can you go ahead and get me some gift cards? And then you'll be like, well, yeah, what do you need? And he goes, I'm just thinking like 10 gift cards at $50 a piece. I'd like to give some away to some of the guys in the field in the outer markets. And then you're going to run out, you're going to go buy those gift cards. And then you'll get an email back. Hey, did you get the gift cards? Yep. Hey, change of plans. I'm going to actually just get these numbers over to the guys and I'm going to surprise everybody today. Go ahead and scratch off the PIN number and scratch off the back of those gift cards for me and tell me the numbers. And I'm going to send them over to, some of the folks. And by the way, keep one for yourself. Good job. Thank you. Congratulations. And you think, wow, that's great. Great job. You're doing great. We love you. There's $50. Take your wife out. So you're going to keep one for yourself. And then the other $450 worth of gift cards, you're going to be scratching, giving that information. Truth be told, that's not the real Scott Phillips.
Yep.
Right. And these things happen in businesses all the time. And it often happens because of the out of office automatic replies.
Somebody tried that with me about 5 years ago. And the funny thing about it was for iTunes cards. And the funny thing about it was our CEO at the time was cheap. He would never do anything like that. And I'm just going back and forth with the guy in the email because I'm having fun with it. And I'm like, well, one thing you failed at, one is we don't have a email that comes from the CEO's office because it said from the CEO's office. And then number two, you don't know this guy because he's cheap as hell. He'd never buy us anything like that. So then the guy just went ultra silent. And I went back. I go, do you still need me to buy them? I never heard anything, but yeah, people do that all the time. And it's very important, no matter where you're at, you get these type of emails, and especially ones with links they want you to click. So they want to get into your system, and try to hack all that. So those are the big things, and especially with COVID in the last couple of years, it's happening a lot more because more people who are doing this stuff or trying to do these things are sitting at home, because they haven't been able to work or anything. So they're trying to do things to make money quick,
Yeah. Or now that they've been at home and they've got these new computers and they spend more time on some of the dark websites, the 4chan, the 8chan, the different places where they go and they collaborate with like minds and they hear about stuff that's working right now, and then, somebody takes that information and goes and tests it to see if they can do it themselves.
Yeah.
just as much as there's great chat rooms and good, conferences like the stuff that you're doing right now with this live stream, there are live streams happening all over the world right now with not so good people.
Yeah.
And so I was an idealist. I believed as a young man going through college, getting a degree in criminal justice, that there was, good and bad. And then the reality set in. I had some friends and family and stuff that I thought were good people make some bad mistakes, and I couldn't write them off as being bad people. I just couldn't say they're bad people. They made bad decisions. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the decisions those folks made were for selfish reasons, maybe out of fear. They needed money. Why did they need money? Maybe they had an addiction. Maybe there was some stress there, in life, financial stress. But desperate people do desperate things. We know that. And that doesn't mean that there's just good and bad. There's good decisions and bad decisions, not necessarily good people and bad people. So I lived with that premise probably the other 30 years of my life until recently. And now I know that there's just some bad people. There's just bad people. There are a handful of very bad people out there that do bad things. They wake up in the morning looking to scam people. They are very creative. They look for angles. They look to cheat. They look to take things that they didn't earn. And to them, it's the hustle and the excitement. It might be a sociopath or psychopathic, personality disorder that they possess, but ultimately they enjoy taking advantage of other people. And those people do exist in the world. Now that we know that, we have to be a little bit more cautious with how we do things in life. So if you are older, if you graduated high school before 1990, let's just say that, there is a chance that you are not super technologically advanced. I'm just saying. Yep. You're just not. Because by the time you graduated high school and would have graduated college, computers were just coming online in college in like 1991, 92. So if you'd already graduated college by that point, you probably weren't even using word processors. So you might be a little bit farther down. So those folks that are in that space, and if they haven't done things to advance their technology, they're also susceptible because they don't know how to search the scams. And one that goes on for folks that are a little bit older is you could have family members or family connections that troll you on your Instagram account or your Twitter account. And they might know that one of your nieces or nephews is in Mexico for the week. That is a real great opportunity for a scammer to take that information and reach out to one of the older relatives that was posted on Instagram, like a Meemaw or a Grammy or a Papa, and they could reach out to one of those folks by figuring it out. If they put their real name on their Instagram account, if Robichaud is there, they could go find out who my mother is, and they could go chase her down, and they could make a phone call and say, "Hey, Mom," or "Hey, Grandma, I was coming to visit, but my car broke down in Mexico. I was hoping I could get up and see you later this week, but I can't now. Would you help me out and wire me $500? And somebody that's not that astute with technology, yep, they become susceptible to that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. A couple other things with social media on that too is, I get why people do it and everything, but a lot of people post pictures of their Christmas tree with all the presents on it, underneath it, or that's a good time for somebody to rob you when you're not home, or post when you're leaving on vacation, your house is empty now. That's a good time for somebody to come rob you. And there are people out there who are looking for those accounts that are watching those things.
Absolutely.
And we got a couple people dropping in stuff here.
Yeah, that's exciting.
This is a good one by Langston. The job offer scam is another one. Looks legit enough that people gladly give their bank account info for. And I know you know a lot about this because you're an HR person. Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you right now, if a recruiter asks you for a bank account number, leave. Do not use them. Go another direction. Because that's just how it is. They're going to get paid for placing you. They're not, you shouldn't pay them up front for that. So,
yeah. Well, and having not been a victim of that, but knowing about that and having had people, steal credit card information from us at times. And thank you, Langston. That was a great thing that kind of builds off this. My advice would be have a separate savings account, checking account that your direct deposit goes into each pay period. Once the money is deposited, transfer it to another account that you use to pay your bills and take out cash and all that kind of stuff, so that you just have one that is just for deposits only. So for instance, we have 3 USAA accounts. One is for deposits only. That's the only public information that I put on, the routing number and the checking account number. And when I am, paid my employer, I then transfer that money into the other accounts. It's just that simple.
Exactly.
That's a good way to work around that. But you are absolutely right, especially if it's an email exchange with a recruiter and on a Zoom call and just something seems off about it. And then they ask you to do the onboarding and you're giving them your birth date, your social security number, your address. You're setting up a password for a fake, email account that they give you. You're giving them their checking account information. They've got everything they need to wipe you clean.
Or the recruiter who emails you at your work email address. Oh, is that
yes.
something?
Yeah. Hey, it worked.
You got my attention. I was like, dude, you can't be doing that.
Hey, it worked. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, I was the recruiter. I was helping out a friend and I run some great software programs that do what's called sniffing, and it sniffed out Nick's email address. And I dropped him a little message saying, hey, if you happen to know anybody that's looking, I'm looking to hire, a senior project manager for a company I'm partnered with. And sure enough, he responded and it worked. So
I responded. I found you on LinkedIn, responded through a direct message and say, if you're going to get a hold of me, do not do it through my work email.
Do it through my work email. Yeah.
It was kind of harsh, the first one, but then we got over that. We figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you know what's funny? So manipulation and persuasion. The names sound very different. Manipulation just sounds evil. Persuasion sounds like, you're probably a salesperson. The skill, the delivery. Yeah, dude, they're the same thing. There is a difference. And the difference is, so like this, the acting, the words, the wordplay, the maneuvering of the conversation, persuasion, manipulation, all the same. Persuasion is the win-win. I'm trying to help move you forward and myself forward through this discussion so we both win.
Yep.
Manipulation is I'm trying to move myself forward so I win, you lose.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's it, right? But it's the same. I often think of like passion and compassion. Passionate people, they pound their fist, they get red in the face, they tell you everything, and they get very excitable, and you can see the passion, you can hear it, you can almost smell it off them. Compassionate people are the same way.
Yep.
But passionate people are leading through insecurity. They don't want to look bad and they like to win. And then compassionate people, they're more about making sure everybody else wins, and they're leading with their heart, not with their insecurity. But it still looks the same. Yeah.
Really quick, I want to give a big shout out to Carl. Hey, man, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the support.
Hey, Carl. Nice to see you.
So, there's a lot of things that go on with you, and one thing that I'm always in awe, and I know I talked about it, I know it's impossible to happen, but you are a Gary Vee disciple.
Oh,
my God. How you got involved with that, and just, everything that goes involves with that, because almost everybody knows who he is. Let's just be honest. I mean, he's this dude all over the place. So, and I try to get him on the show, and it's too expensive. But
if you want to get him on the show, you're going to come up with about $50,000. You're going to go buy FaceTime Fly. It's an NFT that Gary's selling, and that's going to give you some time with you and him to do a FaceTime. Yeah. But it's going to run you probably today's value is about $50,000 to get one of those NFT tokens.
Hey, Scott, you want to sponsor that episode?
And I think you only get 5 minutes, so you have to make it
make it quick.
Yeah. So I had a belief that I was going to own a winery someday, and this was 1992, 93. My last name's French, Robichaud, Chateau Robichaud. It rolled off the tongue. I'm going to own a winery. That's what I want to do. So I start researching the business back then, and it's pretty exciting. And I even started messing around and creating my own websites, Blue Collar Wine and things of that nature, which no longer exist. But those were things I was going to do. Is like I wanted to be the blue collar wine guy that would create $100 bottle of wine, but only sell it for $20. And so during that discovery period, the next few years, there's this guy out on YouTube who's and I'm probably one of only 8 people that saw his videos back then, but he's posting these like weekly and every other week wine tastings and talking about this great wine. And his father was, in the liquor store business and the wine business and the wine trade. And so I knew about him then. And then years go by. I'm not paying much of attention until LinkedIn kicks on. And so I get a LinkedIn account, and I've got a pretty good established LinkedIn account at the time. I see all this content being produced by this guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. And lo and behold, it's the guy from the Wine Library YouTube videos from years before. So I just have been following him. And about March of last year, we'll get a text message from Gary's text service that just says, "Hey, I want you to go get some Ethereum. I'll tell you why tomorrow." And then, tomorrow comes by. He says, "Hey, I'm launching a new project. I want you to go get a MetaMask wallet. I'll explain again in a couple days." And you're like, "What's going on?" Then he sends a video out launching this project called VeeFriends. VeeFriends is a great project that Gary Vaynerchuk launched that is an NFT project. And an NFT is essentially digitized art that is traded on the Ethereum blockchain. Ethereum, very much like Bitcoin, is a cryptocurrency, but it's a smart contract cryptocurrency that establishes, just like a public ledger on Bitcoin, ownership rights of digitized art or digitized anything for that matter. It could be the deed on your house. And so Gary's launched a very cool project with that. And along with the VeeFriends project comes something called utility. Utility means that it's not just digital art, but if you earn certain tokens or you own certain tokens, those tokens can give you access to certain events, give you access to him, give you access to gear. And so very early on, Gary identified a few of his NFT projects, the tokens, and said, "If you own this one, I'm giving you free hoodies and t-shirts and baseball caps. If you own this one, you're getting free wine from me next month. If you own this one, you're going to be able to play basketball with me when you come out to the big conference at the end of the year." So everybody who owns one of Gary's 10,000 NFTs gets access to be able to mint a membership admission ticket to go to VeeCon coming up here in May. So May 19, 20, 21, 22, I believe, is going to be VeeCon. And that's going to allow for you to go out and meet with all these influencers that are in the NFT space, the crypto space. You're going to meet Gary. I'm taking, a couple of the kids and my wife, and we're all going because we invested in those. But let me give you an idea of what this looks like. We spent some money. We spent about $10,000 to $15,000 on NFTs. That seems like a lot of money. The value of those NFTs that I purchased today would trade somewhere around $250,000 to $300,000 if I were to sell them today. Nice. That's pretty powerful. Yeah. And why is that? That's because that people see that there's value associated with it. And Gary keeps pouring all this utility into those NFTs. However, 99% of these NFT projects that have launched, they're just digital art. They don't have any utility, and they're pretty to look at, but they don't give you anything in return. So there's a few of them that I'm really excited about. The Arabian Camels project. Arabian Camels has roughly 11,000 NFT projects. You can buy them on OpenSea.io. And the Arabian Camels are going to give you access to gamification. What that means is you'll be able to use those NFTs to play games to earn money. And so that's going to be the future of video gaming. Think about any kids or grandkids that you might have that were playing Fortnite and they spent all that money on all these skins. If those skins were NFT'd, the owner of that skin could sell that skin. A skin essentially is like an outfit. They could sell that skin to another Fortnite player for money, for cryptocurrency. And so the future of video gaming is going to be just that. It's going to be NFT space. It's going to be what's called the metaverse. Has nothing to do with Facebook. That they're getting it wrong. But sorry, if we're getting live streamed on Facebook, I love you guys. You're the best.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Yeah, we love you guys. But ultimately, the metaverse is just going to be a digital playground where people are going to be able to go and spend time, and they're going to be able to entertain themselves, and they're going to make friends virtually. And if you haven't seen or read the book Ready Player 4, I think Ready Player 1, it's kind of about that whole space.
Right on. It's interesting because I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
But I get all those, bot profiles and everything that send you, DMs about crypto, which they're totally wrong, because they just put it in there, they say hi dear, I'm just like, come on, that's kind of and it just misrepresents everything so much, and it's it's unfortunate, but you know what, hey, you know, people do different things. People try to make a quick buck. We talked that before the show, you know, people just trying to make a quick buck off everything. And, you know,
there's scammers in that space. There's absolutely scammers in the space. The NFT space is not a scam. Cryptocurrency, not a scam. Now, many of the coins that have been created, many of the NFT projects that have created, we've had some rug pulls, and rug pulls mean that, you know, people go in, they create this project, they get a bunch of people excited, they sell a bunch of NFT tokens, and then they just disappear with the money. That has happened a few times in this space. So when you're looking to invest into an NFT project, make sure they're credible people. And one way to check is, you know, look at a guy like a Gary Vaynerchuk, or Shaquille O'Neal has an NFT project now, right? Pepsi has an NFT project. Nike has an NFT project. NBA Top Shot. Those ones you can feel pretty comfortable about. But when somebody, you know, comes up with, you know, Buddha bellies, you know, and you're like, I don't know what Buddha bellies is, but they got a bunch of Buddhas out there and they've got a bunch of pictures of Buddhas in their bellies, and you don't know who these people are and they don't respond to your messages, chances are they're just trying to raise money so they can do a rug pull.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
So really quick, over your right shoulder, that would be it. There's a lot of medals hanging on there.
Oh,
I assume all these are from your trail running, from your running.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know we talked about some issues that are going on right now with the running at this moment, but dude, what gets you into the running? What is that all for you? What does that do for you? That's a good question, because a lot of people try to get into it, and after they run for about a mile, they're done. You know, so, and then they go back and try something else, you know. So what does running do for Rob?
Man, it saves me a lot of money, I guess, in having to spend it at like a therapist or a psychologist, right? It is my medicine. Everybody has their own thing, you know, and there's a lot of people that are runners that will understand what I'm saying. It's difficult to describe it when you're in it and you're doing it. It's the only thing that matters, and it's beauty and it's pain, it's anguish and it's excitement, and it's just everything in one space. As I'm taking just a couple of strides, I can be like, crap, my knee, God, that's a beautiful tree. Oh, breathe in deep, you know, oh, I can't breathe. You know, is that my headache? You know, and why isn't my watch tracking correctly? I'm sure I've gone farther than this. And that all happens in 3 seconds in your brain, you know, and then all of a sudden, all that noise stops for me. And then I'm just hearing my feet thump, 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 thump. And I'm hearing my breath, 2 breaths in, 1 exhale. And it is the one time in a day for me that I can absolutely escape all my responsibility and all my thoughts once I'm in that zone. And it takes a couple miles to get in the zone. But then when I'm out of it and I come back home after the run, I am fully engaged and ready to go. I heard this on a podcast with Rich Roll, and I think it's Tim Ferriss, the Tim Ferriss show. Rich Roll said, mood follows action. And he heard it years ago, and I'd heard it in a different way. But if you are looking to be in a good mood, if you're looking to be energized today, if you're looking to have some excitement, you can't achieve that until you've done your action first. So go do something that you're grateful for. Act out, read a book, listen to some music, go for a walk, lift some weights, eat a healthy meal. Act first, the mood will follow. And so for me, even if it's just a light jog and it's only a mile or 2 today, it still will reward me in a way that allows for my day just to be great. How to get into it? I was a paper boy. Scott knows this. I started out as a paper boy. I was a chubby little kid. And I was running a paper route 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And at the end of 8th grade, we had a track tryout for the high school. So because 9th grade was coming up and I was going to have an opportunity as a freshman to go run track. And I smoked everybody. And it's just because I spent 3 years running with, 40 papers over my shoulders. I got myself in good shape and didn't even realize it. I'd like to say I've been running ever since, but I did take a long break until about 6 years ago. My wife, Laura, she signed us up for a Spartan event together.
Yep.
And that's a butt kicker. There's nothing you can do to really prepare yourself for that. You can train and train and train.
Yeah.
You will be humbled in the first 10 minutes on that course.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But that re-energized my love of lacing them up and going out for a run. And I may not be great at doing burpees or doing the monkey bars or pulling myself up a rope, but I can put on my shoes and I can outrun most people my age and a lot of people quite younger. So I love it.
I every morning I go out and I at least get a little bit of jog or walk in about 3 miles. And one, especially here in Arizona when it's colder, the nice crisp air in the morning is amazing to breathe in, but it just clears my mind and gets me ready for the day. And that's what's good for me, because a lot of stuff spins in my head. I just stuff is always I'm always thinking, what am I doing at work today? Okay, I'm working with this guy tomorrow. What am I going to do with that? What am I doing here? I'm working on this little side project with a couple other people I told you about a little while ago. What are we doing with this? What steps are we on now? And it's just like, sometimes it's just nice to get out and put the ear pods in, listen to music, and just let everything go, and I get it, man. I get where you're at. Now I just got to start jogging and running. But
you know what? And it starts
5Ks and all that stuff,
Yeah, it starts with just telling yourself, from here to the end of the street. And even if that's only a 1 minute run, you ran 1 minute, and you ran 1 minute today, and you didn't do that yesterday. And that's beautiful, man. It's just a beautiful thing to go out and do. So fresh air in Arizona right now, perfect. I absolutely agree. Man, that's a good way to wake up in the morning and get that in your lungs. Yeah. For those of us that have had COVID, though, there's some real truth to breathing difficulty post-COVID and exercise. I've experienced it myself. I'm still out there doing my runs. I am not at the same capacity, breathing, and speed that I was at this time last year. But it's coming back, and then I think in time it will right itself. Lungs are pretty good at, regeneration, I guess, in a sense. So I'll do my best to keep eating healthy. I'm drinking, instead of coffee, I'm drinking powdered mushroom coffee.
Enjoy.
They put a description on the bag: cream and smooth, just like coffee. I wouldn't say that's the case.
No, it doesn't seem that way. So,
but it's supposed to provide a lot of good, antimicrobial, good stuff for your body, good energy, all the nutrients that you need. And I'm thinking it'll make me a faster runner.
Hey, that's all that matters. You just got to think, got to feel it.
Now, sad reality, Nick. Most of those medals are like every child gets a trophy. Most of those medals are participation medals. But hey, I show up. I run the races.
Yep.
I did win a few races a couple of years back. Came in second place and first place, and for my age division and things like that. So those are proud moments, to be able to chase down a guy who's half your age and beat him to a finish line, and they look like they're in better shape than you, and you're like, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That is great. So we're getting to the part of the show where we start winding down a little bit.
Yeah.
So is there anything out there you like to add to anything, or any questions you have, or anything you got going on, man?
Yeah, it's more one. I want to say I'm grateful for you. I've listened to your podcasts. They're funny, they're spirited. And so I want to say thank you for the time. Happy to chat with anybody about some of the schemes and scams going on, and to reassure them that the NFT space is a legit space, but they need to proceed with caution. And then I would love to hear from you about, if somebody were out there today thinking, I have good stuff to talk about, I have value to add, I want to contribute to society, I want to start a podcast, I want to share the good word, whatever that might be. How would somebody get into this podcast space and start? I mean, what equipment, what platform, and how difficult is it to start a podcast?
It's weird getting interviewed on my own show, but
it's good though.
No, that it's a great question, because everybody does it different. Some people want to start with a bang and just get right into it, just drop all this money in and everything and do this. And mine was very simple. Mine was a laptop. That's it. That's all I did. Mine was with a laptop. And I think for me getting into it, the big part of it was I personally branded myself for about 6 months before, built up my LinkedIn following, to a pretty good size, created a YouTube channel. So everything went to that, and did some of the backdoor stuff. Went on to Anchor. Not everybody uses Anchor, but Anchor's great when you're getting into it because it'll distribute it out to multiple sites, the audio version. So so that'll get you out there. So, you know, and it was just for me, the hardest part was, and I think it is for a lot of people, is doing that first live video because it's scary. You know, it is scary because, you know, some people's profiles, you get on them, there's millions of people looking at, can see that profile, you know, and my mindset I took for that off of that was when I got to the point, my first 2 or 3 podcasts, I was just kind of like, yeah, you know, and when I got to the point where I'm like, I'm just having a conversation with another person. That's it. It's friends talking. Once I got past that, I don't think about people out there looking. Now it's cool. People are putting some comments over here and, you know, we'll reply back to them. But my first couple ones, I didn't do that because it was almost like I just wanted to concentrate on what I was doing. And it's just repetition, man. It's just doing it and doing it. Every podcast will get better. Every season I have is improved. Now I got a green screen, got the microphone, you know, and I do have headphones if I want to use them, but I don't need to at the moment. Am I going to upgrade to a better camera and a ring light and all that stuff? Yeah, most likely. But right now, I'm not making money. I don't want to make a lot of money. Well, I do. I won't lie about that. I'm not making a lot of money. I get free product from people. They send me stuff, you know, but this is more for fun for me. You know, when it starts to become a business, then I'll start putting more in. We'll start editing clips to give promos or throwback Thursday clips of stuff, you know, but up to that time, it's cool meeting people, you know, and talking to people. Some people just, you know, email me out of the blue. Hey, can I be on your show? I check out their profile. I'm like, hey, that sounds like fun. You know, let's get you on, you know, and then I end up, some of them I become friends with, you know, and just because they just threw out a message to me, hey, do you have a spot for me? So, you know, I just think if you want to do this, just do it. I'm saying sometimes you just have to do it, you know, and don't overthink it. Too many people overthink when they start these things. And that's where they fail right off the bat because they overthink it instead of just going for it. You know, I mean, and trust me, there are trolls out there, but who cares? Seriously, there's a block button for them. So use it, you know, but your friends will support you and they will come and they'll show up. And that's the bottom line. And they'll always be there. And if you have friends who are honest with you and everything, they'll tell you if it sucks or not. I mean, that's just the reality, you know? I mean, I want people to tell me if I screwed up. I want people to tell me that, you know? So.
Well, so let's give the listeners just some real quick tools. Streamyard. You're using Streamyard.
Yeah, I use Streamyard.
It's you know, overrated, underrated. Do you think it's a good one?
I like Streamyard, and the reason why I like Streamyard because it creates an event for LinkedIn, so it creates the post for you already. You can go in and edit it once it hits the LinkedIn, but that takes a lot of time off me. And if you notice, when I put these posts out, I'm engaging big time. I'm getting the right people into the post, so the post blows up, you know. So if StreamYard can create that for me instead of creating in StreamYard, then go into LinkedIn and recreating another post. This is a lot easier. It allows me to create a promo picture. As you can see, that was on there where I put Rob Switcher, my picture, and what's coming up, you know, to help create that. Then it's like a banner, you know, that helps out a lot too, you know, because it's like a one-stop shop for me. Now, there's other platforms that other people use, and they absolutely love it. I haven't tried another one yet. Am I going to? Most likely. The only thing I'm disappointed with StreamYard right now is I can't comment during the video to people on LinkedIn. They took that away. I can comment to people who are on Facebook, let's say, on YouTube or whatever platform. This goes to Twitter, goes all that. I can reply back to them while we're live, but on LinkedIn, I can't. And that's last season when I was doing the podcast, I could. This season, you can't now. So I'm a little disappointed on that. But for beginners, StreamYard's a great place to start because it makes it easy to get your promotional stuff out with a post to continue to go on. Now, are other platforms doing that now? Most likely. They need to catch up. They can't fall behind. They can't let StreamYard beat them, you know? So, and I get that, you know, but this is what this is what I'm comfortable with at the moment. Like I said, once money starts rolling in and everything's there, And then, you know, then things change a little bit. But up to that point, we're just enjoying it and having fun, my friend.
So your podcast is about gratitude, and
Yeah.
you and I both come from a school of thought of being gracious and grateful and counting our blessings. And sometimes that comes to a person through faith. Sometimes a life event happens or a near death experience, or they lose somebody close to them. And then we learn, instead of being negative, we start counting our blessings. And so when did that happen for you? When did you find yourself in that paradigm shift of, I'm just going through life, and then now I'm counting my blessings and I am like so grateful?
Oh man, I think it's when I first, to be honest with you, and I know they say money's not everything, but when I started hitting six figures in salary, and then, you know, we were able to buy a nice house in a nice neighborhood, we were able to buy some nice cars, you know, that was the point. Those were the points where me and my wife look at and just say how
Wow.
grateful we are for everything, because we can lose everything tomorrow. It can be gone tomorrow. And I'm not saying we weren't grateful before, but, you know, stress just ruled life, you know, and when you're just getting by, it is hard, and I get it. But, you know, when we made that step and then moving down here to Arizona, just how much farther our money took us down here with our house, with our yards, with all those things, just a lifestyle and change. It even makes us more grateful. You know, I mean, just coming from a state that has one of the highest cost of living rates in the nation to coming to a state that has one of the lowest, pretty much, you know, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it just makes you, you know, you think about all the people that crossed your path, and you cross paths for a reason. You run into certain people, you work at certain jobs, good or bad, but you've been placed there for a reason. It's to learn something, you know, find the positive out of the negative and take that positive with you to the next job and build off of that, you know. And I think when those management jobs started happening for me, and I saw what I can do for my future, for my family, and for myself, you know, in my career, that really just, it changed everything at that moment, I think. So I can't pinpoint exactly when it happened, but that seems about the time where, you know, thank you so much, I appreciate this. I went to a job that was horrible, but I met a person through there that referred me to another job that launched me into this thing that went through here. Then some guy plugs some search engine into some software he has and finds me. And then I find this other gentleman who has just been completely awesome to me. And, you know, it's just, and I'm thankful for every step of that, you know, I am, and, you know, and people who really know me know that, you know, how grateful I am for all those things. And sometimes we do take things for granted. And the big thing is knowing when to stop and take that step back and realize, hey, wait, we're in this great position. You know, let's be thankful, because we can wake up tomorrow. The company we work for can go under. It could sell, and then everybody is on their way out. Then you're looking for something else. Or another thing like COVID can hit again, and the whole economy can tank, you know? So you just, you know, I just look at it and just every day, you know, I thank the man upstairs, because I'm only in this position because of him. And I thank my wife too, because she sacrificed her career for mine, and it's paid off. So having that strong partner too is a big, you know, big scenario in all this too.
Well, we don't want to give into the Hallmark holiday of Valentine's Day. However, it's coming up in a week, and next Monday, or a week and a Monday. So if you're that grateful, then surprise mama, you know, with something awesome, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hey, so those that struggle with maybe faith and religion and organized religion, maybe they don't pray, maybe they don't think they need to, but they do want to express gratitude. They want to find a way to still express gratitude. I had heard this years back, and it resonated with me. And if you find yourself in a quiet moment, and you find yourself in a day where you have some time where you are grateful, just go through the alphabet A to Z and assign something to each letter that you're grateful for. A, I'm grateful for apples. I'm happy that, I can go to the grocery store and get an apple today 24/7, 365. There's always going to be apples. I'm grateful for apples. B, I'm grateful for, if my dog's name is Bingo, I'm grateful for Bingo. And I've had some great, and just find one thing that you're grateful for, associate it with each letter. Once you create your list, all you have to do in your brain is just go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. In a quiet moment to express gratitude for all those things on that list that you created. And I feel like when I heard that for the first time, it so resonated with me. It was like, I can always find time to say the ABCs several times a day to express gratitude for those things. And then a couple times a month, I can replace Apple with something different, or, the dog Bingo with something different, or does that make sense? And,
yeah,
and
I like that.
Great way to just be present and find a way to show and express gratitude. Because I'm sure there's listeners on your podcast that maybe don't pray or they don't buy into faith,
I tell people, I go, having a belief in something is a good start. Just believing in something, believing things happen for a reason is a nice step. But when I tell people on social media, with LinkedIn and everything, I go, if you want to show your gratitude towards other people, engage on their post, share their post, help promote people, because you never know. Because it takes one person seeing you doing that can change your life, and I'm the firm believer is I accept all followers and connections and everything and if they don't turn out well, I have every opportunity to block them, and unfollow them or whatever. And that's fine. But I'm a firm believer it takes one person to notice you and that changes your life. And then if you do the same thing and notice someone else, you can change their life. I believe this is a domino effect. I've connected with so many great people on LinkedIn from all over the country that I would have never done if I didn't have that open mindset about that. And now I can call some of them some really good friends. We've had friends visit us from other countries that come over that we met. We would have never met because of if this platform wasn't around like that, and just been on some amazing Zoom calls. I traveled a lot for another job. I met people in Indiana and Atlanta and Texas, it's all off this platform. And now we're all still good friends. We text each other, call each other, check in on each other, and it's just because, we decided to follow everyone and we met that person. You never know. One of those three people, I met a lot more, but for an example, one of those three people, my friend Joe in Indiana, one day he could change my life. Who knows? And that's the way I look at it. And just be positive, don't troll people, and then just enjoy your time. And at the same time, it personally brands you. And that's the big thing, is building that personal brand. And then people, before you know it, people will come to you. And some people think I'm a rock star on LinkedIn. And I just laugh because I'm just Nick. I'm having fun. People want me involved in their post and, asking me to comment. So, get that stuff. And I think it's fun, and so I'm positively impacting someone. I don't think it's a big deal, but to them it is, so I just roll with it and enjoy it, man.
There's a new platform on LinkedIn that's getting beta tested right now, and it's their answer to Clubhouse.
Yeah, I saw that.
Clubhouse is just like this, right? But it's no pictures; it's all audio. It reminds me of the old party lines where you would, have 20 people call in and they could all be chatting at the same time. Now, Clubhouse has moments where they're a hot mess. So LinkedIn, because it's a professional networking place, and I know that we, sneak in some Facebook isms into LinkedIn from time to time. We're posting inspirational quotes, just, kind of like Facebook 5 years ago. However, the LinkedIn audio, after it's beta tested, will be available just like this Streamyard, and there will be open chat rooms, audio, that people will be able to host events. And that'll be really exciting, where they can bring people up on stage, and you might get a drop in from a Gary Vee, if and how cool would that be, Nick? That you can
we did pretty good. We did pretty good with Clubhouse for a hot minute. Because I like how you can take somebody within a room, you can go into a separate room and talk to them individually.
Yeah.
But Clubhouse became a wreck at one point. And we had a lot of drive. I was working with a buddy at that time, his consulting company, which I still do to a degree. And we were able to drive so much traffic to his website out of Clubhouse. It was amazing, but that was at the very beginning when it was the hot new thing and only people on iPhones can get on, Android users couldn't. And I mean, we just took advantage of that. And then when Android came in, yeah, all these people came in, but then all these crazy rooms came in and then you get a ding because everybody invited you to their club. I mean, it got out of control. It got out of control really fast. And hey, good for the owners. They're making a shitload of money. So good for them. Yeah. But, for me, it got out of control. So we kind of just let it go to the wayside and come back to our LinkedIn that does really well for us. So it's been a lot of fun. So.
And if you ask Gary Vee where we should all be right now, we should all be here. Not necessarily, he's active on Twitter, he's active on Instagram. But if you ask him, where do I need to grow my business? What platform? He will always lead with LinkedIn. That's where you need to be. So,
agreed.
Yep. Well, dude.
Yeah, we got to get rolling.
You're awesome. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the audience members that popped up. Can I do a quick sales plug?
Yeah, I was going to say, hey, where can we find you or what you
in
closing?
So if you are in Arizona or Colorado and you need pressure washing, high pressure washing, professional, commercial, not the chuck in the truck stuff. We have the big, fire engine type of equipment. Give me a holler. You can find me here on LinkedIn. We do all commercial work. We do heavy equipment machinery. We do facilities, HOAs, multifamily apartment complexes, and all the, stuff out in the front of any of your retail spaces, restaurants, malls. Happy to help out with that. We also have a window cleaning division. And then up in Colorado, there's a paving division, a striping division, a landscaping division. So the company's getting bigger and bigger by the day. And we'd love to be the exterior facility maintenance providers for your business. So awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So really quick, where can people find you? Because I know for a fact you've told me multiple times your Instagram. That's your big thing. But where else can people find you? You on Twitter?
On Instagram, I Run Pro. That's just the letter I, RUNPRO. That's my personal Instagram. You can give me a shout out there. LinkedIn right here. Not very involved in Twitter so much. So those are the two platforms that you can find me. And the only reason I have a Facebook account, love you guys at Facebook, is because Instagram has to connect to a Facebook account these days. So otherwise, I'd probably just be on Instagram and LinkedIn. Is there any other place to be?
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's it. So basically, I was going to say in closing, you can find the All Things Gratitude podcast on YouTube at All Things Gratitude Podcast, its own channel. So go find all our episodes all the way from season 1, even some behind the scenes. We got some crazy videos of us just screwing everything up, but it's right there. That's what makes it fun. And I'm only on that and LinkedIn, guys. I am nowhere else to be found, and that is just fine with me. So, hey guys, thanks everyone for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. There it is. That's me.
Yeah. So you can also just search, Nick's name and his podcast on
I'm fortunate. My SEO numbers are pretty high, so I'm very fortunate when it comes to that. So, I pop up right to that. So I appreciate that plug. I'm wearing the same shirt right now too. Look at that. So ironic on that one. That was not planned, everyone. It was not. That was great. So, hey guys, thanks for tuning in this week. We'll be coming back at you probably in a couple of weeks. But I'm going to try to plug somebody in next week. So, everyone, thanks for showing up. Hey, if you got any questions for Rob, throw it down in the comments. In the comments, I put his profile. Connect with him, especially if you need any power washing, pressure washing done in Arizona or Colorado, or some striping up there or landscaping or anything. Give that dude a call. He'll hook you up, man. So, Rob, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it, man. And hey, I'm always gonna have a connection for you. You know that, and because you helped me out. And when I said people can change people's lives, you've done it, man. So I appreciate it.
Well, you're changing people's lives too, so give yourself some credit. So thank you for being open to this, and let's move forward and have a great 2022. We owe each other a beer this year, so let's make that happen.
considering we live like 10 minutes from each other.
No. All right, brother. Maybe I'll see you out on the trail. We go.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Right on, everyone. Well, have a good night, everyone. Talk to y'all later.